Sitting at the intersection of the Lower Laguna Madre and the Gulf of Mexico, fishing in Port Isabel offers variety like no other. From inshore classics to offshore giants, this hidden gem in southern Texas should earn a top spot on your bucket list. In today's video, we're taking you through the top fish species you can catch here, where to go, and how to cast a line. But before we get started, make sure you're hitting those like and subscribe buttons below. Kicking off this video are none other than redfish. We are in Texas after all, and Port Isabel's miles of clear, shallow waters are the perfect place to battle one of these fish. Hook them year-round either by sight casting into the Laguna Madre or cast into deeper waters to pull out a beast. One thing's for certain, if you're hoping to catch a fish, there's no better target to go after. Following closely behind are another Texan favorite, speckled trout. One of the most popular inshore eating fish, they reach impressive sizes in Port Isabel's inshore waters. Gators measuring over 30 inches are all too common, as well as plenty of smaller varieties that are best for throwing on the grill. Thanks to Port Isabel's location at the southernmost end of the Lower Laguna Madre, the fishing conditions here are similar to those you'd find in South Florida. As a result, you can even target snook in its waters year-round. Likewise, large tarpon pass through every summer before leaving in the fall, whereas juvenile fish stick around all year. And then there are the flounder, sheepshead, and plenty of black drum to keep things exciting. If you never venture out of Port Isabel's inshore waters, you'd be a happy angler. But if you're ready to do some mileage, there's plenty more to look forward to in deeper waters. You can take advantage of Texas's year-round red snapper season in state waters or hook them over the reefs in federal waters during the open season in the summer. Head even further into the Gulf and more opportunities arise. Tuna, Marlin, Wahoo, and Mahi Mahi are all on the cards depending on the time of year you're fishing. You'll need to travel anywhere between 10 and 50 miles offshore to get to productive grounds, and there's no one better to get you there than your captain. To find the largest selection of local fishing guides, head to fishingbooker.com or download our app. You'll be able to search and compare charters, read customer reviews, and book your trip in just a few taps. But before you do that, let's take a closer look at some of the top fishing spots in Port Isabel. As we mentioned earlier, Port Isabel is located as far south as it gets in Texas. It sits at the intersection of the Lower Laguna Madre and the Gulf of Mexico, giving you endless areas to explore. The waters of the Lower Laguna Madre, which is the largest shallow water estuary in the U.S., are exceptionally clear and fish abundant. Made up of sand flats, grass flats, and mud, you'll find everything from redfish and black drum to speckled trout and snook at any given time of the year. As you venture deeper into the Laguna Madre, you'll also be able to fish the Intracoastal Waterway, another favorite location for targeting black drum, redfish, and specks when they're not in the flats. If you're planning to venture into the Gulf of Mexico, head through the Brownsville Ship Channel. And if you have the time, stop to cast a line on your way out. The channel meets the Gulf of Mexico at Brazos Santiago Pass, an excellent spot for targeting tarpon and mackerel. And finally, the Gulf itself. For productive reef fishing, head to Port Isabel Reef or Rio Valley Grande Reef. As for big game, the continental shelf starts to drop about 30 miles from shore, opening up various opportunities for deep sea fishing. So now that we've covered what you can catch and where you should go, let's get into the best ways to go fishing in Port Isabel. Whether it's sight fishing for redfish or offshore adventures, nothing beats hopping on a charter boat. Not only will you be able to move around different spots, target a variety of species, and try out different techniques, but you'll also have a knowledgeable captain on board to ensure you get the most out of your Port Isabel fishing trip. If you'd prefer to stay on land, head over to Pirates Landing Pier, the longest in the Lone Star State. It runs adjacent to the Queen Isabella Causeway, giving you access to the waters close to where the Laguna Madre and the Gulf of Mexico meet. As a result, there's great year-round fishing for the variety of species that come through the laguna. You're almost ready to go fishing in Port Isabel. There are just a few more things to cover. Just like everywhere else in Texas, anglers in Port Isabel need to buy a fishing license before heading out. This applies to everyone over the age of 17, whether you're fishing from the shore on your own or with a licensed captain on a charter boat. Depending on what kind of fishing you're planning on doing, you may also need to pick up a saltwater endorsement. You can find out more about the different types of licenses and endorsements available in Texas in our extensive guide linked below. Lastly, you'll also want to get familiar with the local rules and regulations related to size and bag limits. Many of Port Isabel's fish species stick around during the entire year, but that doesn't mean you'll always be able to fish for them. Consult your captain before booking your trip or head to the Texas Parks and Wildlife website to ensure you're up to date. And when you're ready to check out fishing in Port Isabel for yourself, head over to fishingbooker.com or download the app from the Google Play or App Store. You'll be able to browse the largest selection of fishing charters in the area, read customer reviews, and book your trip in just a few taps. So what are you waiting for? Your Port Isabel fishing trip awaits.